Hi everyone! Today this video is just an update on 7 of my orchids. The 3 on the right are traditionally potted in either moss or mixture of moss and lava rock. And then the 3 on the right here are in full water culture. And this one in the front is semi-water culture method. Let's get to them one by one. You may remember a video I did a while ago on my white Oncidium twinkle. It was in full water culture for quite a few months, developing spikes, and it even bloomed for me while in full water culture. But then eventually, something went wrong and some of the leaves started to yellow from the base. So I repotted this Oncidium twinkle into moss, and since then, it's giving me 7 growth. Actually, there is another 8th growth coming, but it's very small to see at the moment. So this one is recovering, but then later I actually found out why it was doing some kind of, I don't know, stress, showing some sign of stress. And the reason was it was really cold and I was out of town, but then my caretaker or my house sitter had the humidifier on full speed, full humidity for almost 24 hours. It was just too wet and too cold. And of course, it was already in full water culture. So I think that had a lot to do with the humidifier. Of course, I cannot blame my house sitter because he didn't know. He thought that, because every time he came to my house, he would see that I have humidifier on, but he had no idea that I actually turn it off once the humidity is at the desired level. He just thought that it's good for him, so he turned it on way up for as long as he could. And that was why. But now, I think that it's recovering, so once the root systems are more developed, I think I will put this one back in full water culture. But I'll have to wait until these new growths are more developed. So you can see there from the left, there are 3 new growth and then 4 new growth on the right here. I'm happy. This is one of my mini phals. It's growing me a new leaf, and the 2 area roots are still actively growing for quite some time already, and it's giving me at least 2-3 new roots at the moment. I think it really has to do with the fact that it's springtime, the temperature is getting higher, so this one is in the active growth mode. I won't repot it just yet, even though it's pending down quite a bit, because at first I had it potted pretty much to the upright position, but it naturally wanted to pen down. This one is looking quite happy, so I think I will leave it in this pot for another year or so, just so that it develop more leaves and perhaps give me more roots before I do the repot. This one is a Phalaenopsis primary hybrid. It is actually Phalaenopsis fly eagle. It's basically Tetraspis C1 and dragon tree eagle. This one supposedly will have the characteristic of Tetraspis C1, where you will have random petals and have the color combination of the dragon eagle Phalaenopsis. When I got this sometime in early September last year. It came with a very tiny little flower spike. Well, it wasn't really quite a spike. It was never really fully developed. It was like a tiny little spike nubbin. It didn't do anything. It stalled for me because it was just, getting cold in winter time. It didn't really do anything until about 2 weeks ago. The new leaves started to grow, and it's amazing how fast the leaf can grow once it's in active growing mode. Because for the longest time, this one was just dormant, doing nothing at all, and I give I give it a 1/4 cup of water every 2 weeks, just so that it has enough moisture, because it's impure moss. This is how it came with, because I wanted to see, because the media looks still pretty fresh. The moss feel like it's still pretty good, so I did not want to disturb it. But now that it's in active growing mode, I think in another 3 weeks or so after I come back from vacation, I will try to repot this one so that it will have better media and more room, slightly more room to grow its roots. This is my Phalaenopsis violacea. This is still a seedling, but it's been in full water culture for quite a while now, and the root in water right now that you see, this is a water root. At first, it was just a very tiny little pointy root coming from this section. So all this time, it was giving me this chunk right here. The root on the left is just the original root, but it is actually doing pretty well in water. It's not rotting or anything, and it's giving me a new root and a new leaf. And again, like I said earlier about the other phal, primary hybrid, once they're in active growing mode, the leaves grow really fast, and the root also is growing really quickly. So I'm happy about that. So hopefully we will have more roots, so that way this seedling can become more established, and hopefully we'll have first bloom in maybe a year. Now, this is my one of my no ID Phalaenopsis complex hybrid from Trader Joe's. This one is also in full water culture. I did a video on this one, a couple of videos on this one before, and the last one I did was when they were, when these 3 flowers were still developing. This one was just about to open. I think these 2 were still in buds. These 3 flowers came out after I had put this one, after I had purchased this one and put this one in full water culture for I think about a month, and then I think it just likes water, so it gave me 3 more buds. It was at one point developing 2 more buds, one on each of 2 of the 3 spikes. There's another spike in the middle, but it's really this one right here, but he actually broke off. But because I moved this one around a lot, so those 2 new buds blasted. But just a couple of days ago, I was very happy to see that the roots are poking out with new roots, and hopefully they'll continue to grow. Because the roots in water right now, these are actually okay. They're pretty firm, even though you see some dark colors. These are just fertilizer berms. Again, that one you can see there is a tiny little pointy tip coming out of an existing root. So this one really likes water. This one really likes water and is responding to full water culture very well. All the roots are firm, nothing is rotting, even though they look a little questionable at the moment. But overall, I think this one is, the flowers are still going strong, but I think this one is in vegetative growth right now. So I think after the flowers are gone, in fact, actually, I will start giving it very, very weak growth fertilizer little by little, so that way I can help with the root growth. Overall, this one is a great find, I think. This one really responds well to full water culture, so I'm really happy about that. And this one is my poster child for full water culture. This is a Neo-Phoenicia falcata primary hybrid. It's called Vanda Greenlight. The latest root growth is this one right here. It's only been maybe 2 weeks, but it has grown quite a bit. And it's funny, it's actually growing on a leaf. So I think pretty soon that leaf will have to go. Other than that, I only change water. There's some algae right now, but the roots are still growing very nicely. I change the water maybe once 3 weeks or so whenever I can't stand the algae anymore, but then I don't really try hard to clean the algae off of the roots. I just kind of change the water and kind of make sure that the inside of the vase is clean. And then I put water back in. And this water is just regular filtered water. It's not distilled water or anything that's, it's definitely not rainwater because it's hard for me to collect rainwater here where I live. But overall, it's doing fine. It bloomed for me last year. The old flower spike is still here, but right now I think it's focusing on growing leaf and roots. So I have a new leaf coming out of here, and then these two new growths are just getting bigger. Other than that, I think in the fall we will be able to see this particular orchid bloom again. And finally, this one is a Cattleya, small world. And it's in semi-water culture. I'm on the 5-day dry and 2 full day of water soaking. And the water is distilled water. Finally, I have some root porn to show you. The 3 new roots that you are seeing are completely new since 3 weeks ago that I converted this one into full water culture. So it's only been 3 weeks, and these 3 roots just grow and grow and grow and are still growing. So I'm really happy about that. And the 3 roots at the bottom are the old roots that this plant already has when I converted this one into semi-water culture. It used to be in pure grow stone media, and the plant actually did not like it. It didn't really grow all that much. It only gave me 1 suitable growth last year, and it was smaller than this one. It was smaller than the one before, so I knew it was not liking the media. And also, look at the water here. Sorry, the root here. This section, at first, the root only was up until this point. So all you see, the section that's in the water, this is a new root that grew completely into the water since I converted this one into full water culture. So I think this one really is liking water as well. So here's the tag. Small world. It's one of those spotted Cattleya hybrids. Anyway, so this one in a couple hours, it'll be exactly 24 hours. So I will dump the water out and give it 5 days of dry period. Okay. This is the update for this time, and until next time, happy growing and have fun in whatever you do. Ciao.